Hello and welcome to the Realizing Resilience podcast. My name is Nate Fournier, and today I am excited to talk about societal resilience. What does it mean to have a resilient society? Have we ever seen a resilient society throughout history? The reality is, history has taught us a lot of lessons, most of which we've forgotten. I think the most important one, though, is that just about every major civilization that has ever existed has collapsed. Period. They have mostly collapsed because of food. The food system plays a major role in any major societal collapse, and it's maybe not the core cause, but in the end, if you can't feed your people, everything falls apart. And I think that the government's role throughout history of providing the people with the economies of scale that only a government can do, of producing enough food to feed cities, is a relatively recent innovation as opposed to the thousands of years of tribes, hunter-gatherer systems, pre-modern agriculture, and not even modern, just pre-agriculture, where we cultivated crops and stayed in place. And so there's a lot of complicated nuances to this, of course, but I want to just focus on today and the reality that we're not exempt from this degradation of society due to ecological, economic, and agricultural reasons. And I just want to paint a picture. So today, I am an aggressive optimist. I'm going to talk a lot about some doom and gloom here, but I am optimistic. The reality is, we live in a fragile society. Like, incredibly fragile. We are walking on eggshells when it comes to modernity, everything that we know and love and rely on today. I mean, the internet alone, like, to think about if the internet got cut off globally, what would happen to society? It'd be bad. It'd be bad. It wouldn't be like kind of catastrophic per se, but it would be, I mean, it would be like, to some extent, on the scale of catastrophe, it would be bad. What about electricity? I know now that we have so many solar panels and there's a lot of smaller power stations, it's not as much of an issue. Again, there's going to be power. We're going to be okay. But if we lost power collectively, regionally, whether it's a city, a state, or a country, for a month, for 2, 3, 4, 6 months, like, what would happen? When I was in high school, there was an ice storm. I was excited at first. It was great. Like, sweet. There's a big snowstorm coming. School was canceled. The next day I woke up and there was an inch of ice on every tree branch. And the weight of the ice was breaking trees, like tens of thousands of trees were collapsing, branches breaking, falling, tons and tons of damage. All the roads were blocked. All the power lines were down. I didn't have power. And it was the dead of winter. It was like in central Massachusetts. It was cold. I mean, below freezing for sure. And it was fun at first. And then after 3 days, 4 days, I was like, oh, wow, there's no electricity. That means there's no heat. There's no internet. There's no grocery stores. There's no gas stations, no credit card machines. And it was the first time I had realized how seriously fragile our society is. I mean, by the time the emergency workers got to the trees in our road, like, we couldn't even leave our road on both ends. There were trees down, like multiple trees down. And if you didn't have a chainsaw and a truck or a tractor, like, the capacity to get yourself out, I mean, it was really bad. And that's nothing compared to a lot of the natural disasters that we face otherwise. But it ended up being a month with no power, like just short of a month. And I mean, it was, you couldn't survive. I mean, we had to leave town and go to family elsewhere. And so I'm grateful I had the capacity, the ability to do that. But boy, I mean, that was a really a wake up call for me. And I resolved at that point to live a more resilient life. I don't want to be caught in a helpless position where I can't provide for myself or my family. So that set me on this journey of learning the skills, acquiring the tools, the knowledge, and being prepared, like having some stores of food and water, having the tools that I would need if I were ever to be stuck in a situation. And you can only do so much, but not so far down the rabbit hole of being a full-blown prepper and survivalist, but enough awareness to recognize, like, oh, I should take some measures to be able to take care of myself. And I think we all should do that. Talk about resilience. I mean, that's such a big part of it. And as an individual, being prepared. It's not this fringe, like, oh, that guy's crazy. He wants to be prepared so he can take care of himself and his family. Again, it's all on a spectrum, and you can lean a little bit too far one way or the other. To be totally lax and say, oh, the government's going to take care of me, I don't have to worry about anything, is a little ignorant. Or being like, society's going to collapse tomorrow, I'm building my bunker and I'm spending all my life savings on guns and ammo, is a little extreme. So we can find a middle ground, and that's like life. It's so important, and I feel like it's a rare attribute for humans today to be able to hold two opposing ideas at once and find the common ground between them both, and find a reasonable approach to, like, okay, I see both sides. This is what I believe, and this is how I'm going to react to that. What a concept. Like, to be reasonable. I feel like there's so much. It's just we live in this world where, like, we do things that are unreasonable, irrational. So fragility, in society. So food is a big one. I mean, electricity. We've talked about electricity, internet. I mean, food, right? Like, to think about if the grocery stores close their doors. I mean, we saw a little bit of this in COVID, but if there wasn't food in the grocery store, the shelves are empty. What do you do? I mean, talk about resilience. Like, what do you do? I mean, everybody, you really should have, you can get a bin of 30-year shelf life, just like freeze-dried meals. And they're actually really good. There's some that are, like, delicious. But just like to have a bucket of a 1 week supply of food, it's not unreasonable. It's a worthwhile insurance measure to pay $200 to have, enough food for your family to hunker down for a week. A month would be even better. You probably don't need a full year. That's like the give and take here. And water. Water's more important than food. And especially in the winter, if all the water's frozen solid, there's no access, and you lost power, so now there's no well pump, or the city water went down. What are you going to do? I mean, it's like now you're dependent on government to save you. And that's a shitty place to be. And so take care of yourself and your family. Take the small efforts to make sure you have some extra water, make sure you have some extra food. Electricity, internet, food. I mean, and then, like, tools and just knowledge. I mean, I just want to say knowledge, like, to just have a plan and plan ahead and have, like, just a general sense of, like, okay, if this were to happen, this is how I would get a hold of my family. This is how I would coordinate where to meet up. This is where, the basic necessities that we should have. Going camping is like a fun. I'll use camping as an opportunity to practice, like, if shit were to hit the fan and I just have to leave, I'm gonna grab my camping bin in my backpack, and just see if I have everything I need as a little bit of an audit. Uh, Again, not so crazy. Like, I'm just going camping, but I'm also stacking functions and I'm testing my preparedness levels. Having a go bag, like just a backpack in your car that just has some food, a little gas cooker, having extra water, of course, some basic necessities, a tent, a sleeping bag, like have some stuff ready to go. Just whatever, man. It's just in case. Don't go so crazy about it. Don't frame it as like, this fear mongering kind of perspective. Just like, oh, that's cool. I can go camping whenever I want. And if something were to happen, I'm ready to some extent. So these are really important things. And since this entire podcast is about resilience, really important to talk about. Now let's scale it up. What does societal resilience look like? Imagine if, first of all, if that was just like a mandated, imagine if the government said, like, hey, everybody should be prepared. And we do through FEMA. September is like Preparedness Awareness Month. And especially with all the natural disasters we're having. I mean, between the hurricanes in North Carolina recently, and we had a tornado come through here in central Massachusetts back when, about the same time when I was back in like 2014, 15. Uh, Pretty gnarly. I mean, like gnarly stuff. Flooding and fires. I mean, the world is fragile. And we need to be resilient in the face of fragility. It's like the whole point. And do what you need to do. Be aware. And it starts with just awareness and preparedness, mindfulness. Grow a garden. That's like to have seeds. If society were to fall apart in whatever extreme measure, like if you have seeds, you have some bullets and you have some guns, like, and you know how to use them. It's the currency of the future. I mean, it's not like this far off thing. I mean, there's really valuable commodities in the future where dollars won't be, gold and silver. Right now, I do. Everybody should have 10 or 20% of your net worth in gold or silver, or maybe say 5 or 10%. Like, you don't need much, but it's just worth having. It's just like a intelligent decision to make. Say, oh, I'm gonna have a little bit of this instead of having all of your money in the stock market, instead of having it in cash. Inflation, like, it doesn't make sense. It's a strategic and more intelligent approach to have some gold and silver, have some hard assets, and seeds. I mean, seeds, like stocking up on some vegetable seeds and storing them well is crucial. And it's just like, if you're going to garden anyway, have some seeds, buy a little extra seeds. Like, it's fine, and store them properly. And so I'm envisioning a society where the majority of people have the baseline necessities. How much, I mean, if there were to be some awful thing, like, we saw it in North Carolina where a lot of those people are they live the homestead life. They have tractors and machinery and equipment and chainsaws, and they know how to use them. Like, they're in the woods, and so they're already relatively independent. But when you're in the suburbs and you're closer to cities, there's far less of that, and we're so much more dependent on government to save us. And so just you know, baseline, basic measures to be prepared. Because as we scale up this perspective of resilient society, let's look at globally. I mean, society now is kind of a global endeavor. The supply chains that provide oil, that provide electricity, that provide food are international and are dependent on there are so many points of failure. And as an engineer, I love looking at mechanical systems and systems in general, and like identifying, okay, where is the weak link? How many points of failure are there, and how do you minimize the potential points of failure when you're designing a rocket ship? That's like obviously a really important thing to a very complex machine, but to simplify it in every aspect possible so that there are as few potential points of failure as possible. And when we look at our society, there are so many points of potential failure, like so many. God forbid, like socioeconomic issues, of course, war. Like right now, the Strait of Hormuz, like gas went up to $5 a gallon. I mean, within a few weeks. What if gas just stopped flowing? If we ran out of our reserves, if there were no gasoline? What the hell are you going to do? If you have solar panels and an electric car, you're more resilient than most. And that's a good thing. So consider it. Like, what would that look like? If you can provide your own power and have your own transportation, I mean, think about the lines, and it's not hard to imagine, and it's easy to see again throughout history. When there's a natural disaster, gas stations run out of gas. There are lines down the street. Like, there are serious repercussions. So never mind natural disasters, human-made disasters, politics, economics, and then like it's just so complex, so complex, and all of modern society depends on it. Even like, right, if the fertilizer plant blows up and there aren't that many, like the factor of safety, it's another engineering kind of term, systems design, like what is your factor of safety? Where you have redundancy, you have backup systems, you have stores in excess in case of emergency. We have some of that, but Not for long. So just do what you can. Just do what you can as an individual. Get your family on board. Create this. I think shifting the perspective around it and not framing it as like, wow, this crazy survivalist. Framing it as like, yeah, like I can take care of myself and my family if things get tough, or even if they don't. I first heard about permaculture on the Survival podcast with Jack Spirko. He's a huge mentor of mine. Shout out to Jack. Uh, and he's a brilliant businessman. He's a marketer. He's a good communicator. And his entire podcast is about survivalism, but it's framed as like a really reasonable pursuit. It's not this fringe thing. And he had Jeff Lawton on, who is in Australia, like the permaculture guru. And that was the first time I had heard of like using permaculture as a tool of preparedness and resilience to be able to design your landscape to provide food, medicine, fuel, fiber with plants, and working and living in harmony with plants and nature as an intentional steward of your landscape, and to be able to have more resilience in your landscape instead of just grass. Like, why wouldn't you plant some food producing trees and shrubs, some berry bushes? Here in Massachusetts, we can do apples, pears, peaches, plums, cherries. We can have blueberries and raspberries and blackberries. You can have, like, there are just so many things, never mind all the common annual vegetables. But I love perennial agriculture, perennial systems that just come back every year, and you tend them, but it's far less work than annual vegetables. There's just so many better ways of doing things. And again, from a modern agriculture perspective, conventional agriculture, we have millions of acres that are being tilled every year. We are losing topsoil. They're being soaked with chemicals, glyphosate and atrazine. Atrazine is banned in just about every other modern first world country because the studies are out. The research is clear. It is a full blown, they call it the chemical castrator, because the fertility rates globally are rapidly declining, worse in America than anywhere else. And it's because of these chemicals. So talk about resilience, like to reduce your exposure to toxins and chemicals, which are everywhere, and to not get overwhelmed, to find like, okay, be cool-headed, level-headed, like what are the top 3 things I can do to reduce the toxicity in my life? Number 1, stop using Teflon pans. Number 2, stop buying water bottles, stop drinking out of plastic water bottles. Number 3, a lot of tap water, like stop drinking unfiltered tap water. I mean, there's like that alone will do a lot. Eat organic. Most important than all, eat organic. I know it's a little more expensive. It's covered in carcinogens. That's the definition of organic. You know what it should be? Not labeled organic or unlabeled, like just normal. It should be like organic should be the default, and then everything else should say poison added. Grown with poison, grown with chemicals, chemical agriculture. Would that shift things? Would people recognize like, oh, that's what it means? Organic means that they're not sprayed with, I mean, there are organic certified chemicals, but the most common ones that we know are harmful. They're carcinogenic or they're just toxins. Buy organic. Like, stop drinking intentionally. I mean, you have free choice. You have free will. You have the decision to make. Are you going to eat the food that is covered with chemicals or not? And just don't do it. Like, if you have any intention of living a resilient life, that is like bare bones. And so, the research is becoming more clear, and we're at this precipice of catastrophe. We are sick. We are sick as a society. And this is America specifically. I mean, we are like nutritionally deficient. We are psychologically sick. We're depressed. We are anxious. We have diabetes. Our cancer rates are through the roof. Alzheimer's and dementia. We're sick. Our land is sick. Our ecologies. We are in the sixth mass extinction event. Our insect populations are rapidly on decline, and that's the foundation of life on Earth. Like the soil health is being diminished. We are losing our topsoil. Our food is nutrient deficient. Our pollinators are getting wiped out. And we know, like, there's a better way. We know the solutions. And the problem is just the scale. Like, we are so in deep, like that lost cost fallacy, the sunk cost. Like, we have invested so much in modern society that now, like, it's so hard to change because it's just so massive. Regenerative agriculture is the answer. We grow food without chemicals, with healthy, rich, living topsoil that sequesters carbon, builds organic matter, and has nutrients in it. What that means is, to go to the pharmacy and to buy a multivitamin, we shouldn't have to do that. Our food should have the vitamins in it to sustain us. And not just like to survive, but to thrive. And our current modern agriculture, the conventional food system, we focus on NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. That's like fat, protein, and carbs for the plants. They grow big, they grow fast, and they grow green. They grow heavy. And all of modern agriculture is the farmer gets paid by weight, not by nutrient density. And so the soil is dead. It's just like a medium to hold the roots. And then we add synthetic fertilizers, and we don't add any micronutrients. We add all the macronutrients so it looks good, but it's missing those key trace elements that are crucial to building a healthy immune system. And so, why do you think our medical system is so big? I think they're all in cahoots, man. Like, there's just the pattern of of feeding people crappy food. They have poor immune systems. They get sick. They go to the doctor. The doctor prescribes them medication to mask the symptoms and does not solve the root cause. There's no focus on nutrition, on immunity, and like natural ways of living a healthier life, moving your damn body. Like, if you're physically active and you eat organic and you understand what you're putting in your body, like, God, just take care of ourselves, please. Just if we just took care of ourselves, like, how much money do we spend on subsidizing the medical industry and then allow people just eat McDonald's and Doritos and drink Mountain Dew and then go to the doctor and have diabetes and buy medication? Like, so much of our individual value, our individual net worth, like what we can bring to the world. Think about what it would mean to thrive, like to be energetic and healthy and vibrant and like have a purpose and a passion and be crystal clear on your vision and your mission, like to contribute to the world and to have the energy to do so. If even 20% of the population was able to do that, I think the world would change. We're sick. We're sick. And it all starts from the food that we eat and the toxins that we expose ourselves to. Like, stop wearing makeup. I don't know. You don't need to wear makeup. Like, there's the toxicity in makeup is like, it's well known. So just do a little bit of research or like support brands that don't put poison in their makeup, and such that you're not applying it directly to your largest organ. Like, your skin, the endocrine system is crucial to our immune system, and like, you're just smearing toxins into it. And it's as if we haven't learned these lessons before through lead paint and asbestos. Like, I think a lot of we're going to look back in history and say, God, we really fucked up. Like, we took a wrong turn. Uh, what would a resilient society look like? I envision, say I'm a developer, a land developer. I'm looking at a parcel of land. I could put in a cul-de-sac and make a nice little neighborhood, maybe an HOA, and put in 25 McMansions, $1.5 million suburban McMansions, typical construction. This is like what happens every day here. And what if instead that little neighborhood was designed so that there, instead of 25 4,000 square foot houses. There were 100, 800 square foot houses, whether they were like townhome style or, I mean, I'm in Worcester, Mass, and I love the three decker, like the triple decker house was a huge innovation and an opportunity for immigrants at the time to live in a, to have your nuclear family available, like to have your grandparents, your parents, and the grandkids all living in the same building, being able to share resources and take care of each other and like have a relationship, which really went out the window. Like when the suburban, we've been sold that the American dream is to get a job you hate that pays you well, buy a house that you can't afford, move away from your parents, don't talk to your neighbors, make sure your lawn is perfectly manicured grass with chemicals and fertilizers. Like, gosh, we just don't have to live this way. We have choices. We can be better. We can be better individually. We can be better collectively. What would a resilient society look like? It's a sum of the parts. If as individuals we became more resilient, societally it would help, but institutionally we have a lot of changes we have to make. Support your local farmer, support regenerative agriculture, speak out, take care of yourself, teach others, share your perspective, have the deep conversations with your friends and family. Like, let's change the paradigm. Let's make a better world for our kids and our grandkids. And it starts with us. It starts with the decisions that we make today. It starts with the food that we eat, the toxins we expose ourselves to. It starts with mindfulness, knowledge, understanding, and reason, rational reason, and then put your emotion behind that. Let's make the world a better place. Keep growing.